Chasing Tales, Episode 53, Memories.
Welcome back to Chasing Tales. Last time we were with Otto and Cyric at Daniel de Berg's system, Nouveau Thea. Let's see how the repairs are going.
Otto and Cyric sit on the veranda at Daniel's talking. Tanik and the boys are packing up their gear to leave.
Did you tell de Berg that the Terrans sent the bomb?
I did.
Won't that cause problems in the future?
It depends on what happens. I am ready for a war.
Why are you so bent on going to war? And why Ald specifically?
My parents were diplomats, and when I was 16 we went on a trip to Ald's system. They were negotiating a treaty between Haven and Starlight. They brought me along to give me experience. They always hoped that I would help maintain peace.
Cyric and his parents stand on the veranda outside the throne room in Haven. They're waiting to see Ald and Gloriana. The sun sets to the sound of hosannas. It wouldn't be long now. The beautiful sunset that unfolds is a wonder. His parents, in their wordless affection for such things, huddle together romantically. Isn't it beautiful, Strom?
Yes, very fine work. What do you think, Baron?
It's just math.
We should have named you Cynic.
I'm just not as easily impressed as you two.
Well, I think math is beautiful and poetic.
Ald has certainly always had a flair for such things. His world is beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, it is. The great doors to the throne room open, and they walk up to Manalian, imposingly staring down at them. I'm so nervous. I hope he agrees to the terms.
You will do just fine.
He turns, and they follow. The throne room is huge, and Ald and Gloriana sit in their thrones at the head of the room. Manalian bows wordlessly to them and returns to his place by the door. Arion bows, her long, colorful skirts crumpled on the floor around her. Your Greatness.
I have read your agreement. However, I will not be pinned down by a backwater system.
Well, how can we come to some arrangement then? How can we make it better for you?
Blow away in the wind.
Arion looks back at Strom. She raises her eyebrows as if to say, what now? Ald stands and the room begins to glow. Biram stands struggling against Manalian, who grips him firmly. When the light dissipates, Arion and Strom lie dead on the floor.
No!
Biram tries to run to them, but Manalian holds him back. Ald waves his hand casually.
Send the boy back.
Manalian takes him away struggling and flings him through the portal. He lands in Starlight. The familiarity of home is a comfort. Talon, sensing his presence, rushes to the courtyard.
Baron, what happened? Where are your parents?
He killed them right in front of me.
Oh, Baron, I'm so sorry.
No, I am not Baron anymore. I am Cyric, god of war and destruction.
Talon looks over him. This young man has just been through a lot. He's just lost his parents. He felt the grief himself, too, for they were his dear friends. He understood his desire for revenge. He would have to see what could be done.
If only we could build an army, become a power to be reckoned with.
But Cyric, that's not what I want to do. I like the peace of being what we are.
It might have been protection once, but now, if we are to have peace, we will have to prepare for war.
Fine. But when you're finished, I'm taking it back.
Understood.
In the present, Cyric sits near Otto watching him pack.
So you see, that's how all this happened. Can you understand now?
I see.
Otto, when you are packing, remember to adjust the math to our weapons to base 5.
Why?
They have a different base math, so most of my magic won't work there. And I'd rather not walk into a war room unarmed.
Is our visit to Far a war room situation?
Yes, but the Terrans are leaderless and an easy target. Ald is already making his presence known there. They're scrambling for leftovers.
His powers work there?
No, but his warriors do. They are adjusted. I figured it out when he attacked us before. That's what we need to do too, if we're going to beat him.
So how does the math thing work in your system? It's base 9, but Starlight itself doesn't adhere to that potential. Why?
We made an agreement among ourselves to live lighter on tech even though we have the potential, so we could have a base to advance from.
So how does the hierarchy work? How do you know who's most powerful?
We test our limits and study, so they have to be challenged periodically. Long ago, I convinced Talon, who technically is more powerful than I am, that I could take us through this transition of war. The arrangement was I would give back the keys when I was finished with my plan.
But then, do you think there will be peace?
That's the hope.
But once you cross power into another system, more will be able to figure out how it is accomplished. You may always be at war after that.
Ald already knows, and he's the one we have to beat. It's a risk we have to take. We will have to see how it plays out, I suppose.
Otto mulls it around in his head. His guilt compels him to make it right. Clearly, Siric's plan was for war, and it was personal to him. Could Otto go so far with him?
I see you still have some doubts. Let's think of it in a different way. He has always controlled how far any of us can advance because he's so strong and controls the resource distribution. However, without him in the way, his system will be easier to control. Every system can advance as far as the resources will allow. Though he's been in charge for 2 millennia, he's never been weaker than now.
What about Gloriana and Jesus? Will you just leave them alive?
If I have a good reason to, yes. You aren't feeling squeamish, are you?
Won't they be strong enough to depose you without him?
If we take out one of the triad, they should be weaker in the same way than when they were separated. I have a plan that should be what we need. I just have to wait for the opportunity.
What about the people we took care of in heaven? Will they be affected?
There will be some signs of the fight on their plane.
I know you are the being in charge here, and technically I serve you, but I have friends there. They aren't guilty of causing you any harm.
If we take some of their void, they will have to focus on what they do for their own people instead of using it against us. They can't take established resources. They should last another couple 100 years or so before they fail.
Then what? The system will stagnate and die and return to the void.
It's a long wait, but it's what the Terrans were going for. No reason we can't let the created carry on with their lives until they can't. If they focus on what they have for themselves rather than war, the natural progression should sustain them. Mostly my problem was with Ald. Nothing else really matters until that is done. On that front, we only have to wait for the opportunity. Until then, we have other business, fixing the problems caused by the shockwave.
I'll need to go back to Starlight. My lab has everything I'll need to change the base of those objects.
I can create a space for that. We'll need one to build an army anyway.
But the treaty
Says that I cannot have more than a defense force against Ald.
Ah, so you aren't planning on joining the other systems against Ald, then?
Not directly.
What do you need me to build?
Pink sits next to Noid on a cushion meditating. Blamey is waiting, broom ready. Noid nods and she rings the gong at the gate. And begins to sweep in a slow, easy rhythm. The sweeping pushes them into the zone almost instantly. Pink sits in the calm center of the cyclone of noise. The word balance comes to the front of the swirl. She lets it settle into her mind but does not question it for now. Soon, another word materializes. So. She watches it disintegrate and vanish. Change appears last. It burns into her mind and then fades. She closes her eyes and its flaming outline remains. All too soon, the sound of the gong behind them dissipates the swirl of noise. Noid rises. Pink lifts herself off the ground and straightens her skirt.
Come, walk with me.
They walk around the clean courtyard.
I sense a weight on you. What troubles you?
I feel like my existence has ceased to have a point. They pulled off the whole plan without me. I didn't even do the work for it.
You had a small part, that is true. but it was not insignificant.
I can acknowledge that. But even here, I tried my best with all my skills and knowledge to get Sirik the best deal, and he acts like I stabbed him.
He is not accustomed to letting go of control. You gave help he did not ask of you, because you allowed your feelings to overcome your sense of praise.
But I had to.
Why?
I had the skills necessary in a foot and bowl systems. Ald asked to speak to me.
Who do you have to prove yourself to?
Sirik, maybe?
You saved this system already. It is all they speak of in the village.
Well, for me then. To prove I wasn't a traitor. To prove that I do care.
For whom? You do not selfishly serve. You gain by it, or you would not be so attached to the idea. Obsession turns a good idea into a bad one. I do not propose you give up the cause, but perhaps focus that good on your own life. Even the greatest samurai longs for a place of his own. Where is your place?
Pink looks at her feet and stands silently with her hands folded. Lamy comes to collect no weed for tea. She watches them go, then watches the trees race each other to refill the courtyard with leaves. The soft rush of falling leaves is the only sound for a while. Soon she hears the jingle of Bayard's belt and sword as his boots thump closer. She breaks from her concerns to greet him smiling. He bows, sweeping his fancy hat with dramatic gentility. She smiles inwardly. She'd always liked this treatment. She curtsies, pulling her full skirts away from her. He offers her his arm and they walk away. Noit sits quietly watching Lamy make tea. She stirs with intention as the matcha dissolves. She serves him and then herself. They sit quietly together. Master, what troubles you? Noit starts a little, surprised. He pats her hand gently.
It is not your concern. I am just hearing whispers that lead to a place I do not wish to go.
It is a shame. All your students will send to fight.
All things change.
We will get the temple running again. I'll be here to help, Ryosama.
Well, the practice room for does need a good cleaning.
Lamy rises, bows, and goes off to do as told. Hi. Aislinn and Feline are picking flowers.
What am I looking for again?
The blue ones with 5 petals, the dark ones.
Aislinn searches around, finding nothing.
How do you do this by yourself?
I can hear them singing their song. Well, not a song specifically, but it's sort of like that. There is one 3 feet to your left.
He looks again, and there it is. He can't think how he missed it.
How have you spent so much time with me instead of Pink? You missed her, right?
She's preoccupied with no missions or adventures. She really doesn't like to bother me. Besides, I like you.
Thank you. I'm sure she knows about the challenge. Any more thoughts on that?
I have thought about it some. I still need more information to decide. What I want will depend on what's available or needed.
There's one 8 steps to your right.
Oh, okay.
He goes and picks it and puts it in his basket.
If you didn't go on adventures, what would you like to do?
I always thought about settling down. You know, a wife and a home.
Kids?
Sure, kids would be nice.
We could, if you wanted.
Could what?
It's silly.
You barely know me, Feline, but everything about you fascinates me. I do like you. Maybe someday.
Feline is suddenly close to him. She kisses his face sweetly. Pink lies awake, listening to the chime of midnight. Bayard sleeps, draped over her happily. She pets his hair and kisses him. She slides out from under his languid limbs. She lights a candle and walks silently into the music room. She sits and pulls paper and ink and pen to her. She breathes and falls into the zone. Her hand moves automatically with the rhythm of her rise and fall. Soon the work is done, and she falls back into the dark silence of her cottage. She brings the candle close, hoping it is the song that she needs. Instead, it's a letter addressed to her. Jilly, I know sometimes it's hard to let go of the way things were, but all things change. Helping makes you feel like the center of the universe. When you base your value on that, you do not know yourself. You're using it because you understand it works to keep everyone from really knowing you. It's time to try something different. You may come to like it. You have my love forever. Mom. She stares at it a long time. She oscillates from crying to silent and back again. The sun creeps over the windowsill and slowly illuminates the room as the candle fades. Bayard wanders in and doesn't notice her at first. She shifts to get up and fix some breakfast.
Mon Fleur, I wonder where you had gone. Are you all right?
Yeah, just a lot on my mind.
I hope some of it is me.
Of course it is, silly. She makes coffee. Soon Talon knocks. Come in, Talon. She expects to see his usual basket of muffins, but he comes empty-handed. His eyes are down. Panic rises in Pink's throat. Pink leans over and grabs him by the shoulders gently. Talon, what's wrong?
We can't contact the White City. I've been trying to contact Sirik, but DeBerg says that he and the crew have already left in some business elsewhere. I don't know where.
You can't sense him?
No, not outside the system.
What if he's just cleaning up the fallout from the spider? Maybe you moved on to another distress call. I'm sure he's fine. He can take care of himself.
Where has Sirik gone? Another wave of grief catches up with Pink. All signs point within. What will be next for our brave adventurers? Stay tuned for the next exciting episode of Chasing Tales, episode 54, Machines.
Chasing Tales, episode 53, Memories. Welcome back. I'm glad to see you made it. Please make certain to hit like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss a moment. Leave a comment and let us know how you feel today. Now I'd like to thank the Buttermakers. You are all amazing. I narrate. I play myself, my mom, Lamy, and Arian. Gingy voices Sirik, Barum, and Aislinn. Creeper voices Otto. Alamo plays Bayard, Noid, and Strom. Christine plays Feline. Steve Dave plays Ald. Guide plays Talon as both an adult and a child. And Prony announces. All music and sound effects are sourced from YouTube, except for guns. Those come from Creeper. This is an original production, written and produced by me, Pink Salmon. We hope you enjoyed the story so far. If you'd like to support the project, you may donate to the link in the description. I'd also like to thank those who supported me financially through the holiday till I could get some work. Thank you. Slim, Blue, JTR, Cult, and Demon Hobbit. If I missed you, all the donos came in with real names, so if I've got it wrong, thank you to you too. Thanks and come back for more Chasing Tales.